Hey guys, let's discuss my top 5 favorite strings that I could say they have this magic factor, which means on a specific day with specific string, tension, racket and my form, I experience tennis nirvana. And for each string, I'll give a magic rating based on the level of nirvana experience with each string and with how many rackets I actually experience the same state of happiness. Let's go to the list. No particular order. Let's start with Alu Power, which kinda started it all. Control, I'll give a 7 out of 10. It is a control-oriented string, but it has this little kick, this little boost. Some might associate it with a trampoline. It is a good and bad thing at the same time because, well, you can sometimes lose the ball, but this trampoline effect also increases spin potential. And for a round string, this is one of the most spin-oriented string out there. It can suit flat hitters and those spin-oriented players. This added trampoline effect mixed with playability duration decreases the control like quite a lot. That's why I can't rate it any higher. I feel like with every session, okay, maybe every 2 sessions, I experience a slightly different string and it is going into the power zone. Some strings lose elasticity and they lose the power potential. They become a bit more boardy and stiff. Alu Power loses some of its spin potential but gets a boost in power, so the control gets decreased by maximum amount. Spin, I give it 8 out of 10. Great response, this trampoline effect. The ball really gets a kick from the string. Now to power, I give it 7 out of 10. In general, Alu Power is a control-oriented string and I would say every string on the list will be a control-oriented one. Comfort. I must say I am not that sensitive to stiffness of the strings. It can build up over time and this is where you don't really notice the change what is going on with your body, but after 2 months of using a string something can happen. So Alu Power, I give it 6.5. Many users say it is on a stiffer side in a bad way. To me it's okay. Now let's go to the hot one, playability duration. I give it maybe like 3 out of 10. Yeah, this magic window is quite short. For that, it is one of the worst string on the market. When it comes to the price, yeah, very expensive. Alu Power, great string. Magic number should be quite high, and I think I will rate it at the highest. I will give 8, but I am not sure I would put it in my top 10 overall because I am not sure I would be willing to pay so much money. Next string, Solinco Turbite Soft. I think in general Solinco kinda entered the market with Alu Power in mind. They wanted to tackle these two main windows, which means playability duration and price, and you still have a little of this kick, a little bit of the response, even more with the regular Turbite, but I selected Turbite Soft because I think overall it might be a better choice for most players. Yeah, let's go to the ratings. Control. Now compared to Alu Power, it is set at a very similar level, but in a different way. So 7 out of 10. It is a shaped string, so that's why it gives you a bit maybe easier spin potential. It creates a bit higher launch angle, but this kick that was there with Alu Power is a bit smaller with Turbite Soft. Therefore, you kinda get a bit better connection to the ball. Like the ball stays a bit longer on the string bed, so you get a bit more feedback, but it is a bit softer than Alu Power, therefore you get some power back from the softness of the string. Achieve similar ball but in a slightly different way. The overall control, I think it is very similar, so yeah, 7. Spin potential. This is quite interesting because I think The spin potential with Alu Power is a bit better. The snapback, the response. Turbite Soft is definitely not far behind. I would maybe rate it at 7.5. It is not aggressively shaped string, so hard to say if I get any benefit from it being a shape string. Maybe it depends on the racket and my acceleration. Turbite Soft, maybe a bit less spin, but less of this trampoline effect. So maybe less power, and the ball stays longer on the string bed, so you have a bit better connection and more feedback from the ball. But it is a shape string, so you get a bit higher launch angle, where with Alu Power it is a round shape, so a bit more consistent. End result is very similar, but in a different way. I think Turbite Soft gives me more confidence, and in general it is a more user-friendly string. So overall, I think that would be my pick, especially if we go to playability duration, which is, in my opinion, much better than Alu Power, where Alu Power was kind of getting more and more power. With Turbite Soft, I'm not really sure where it's heading. Maybe it actually loses this power potential, becomes a bit stiffer, less elastic, but the overall softness of the string is lower, so the comfort is bigger with the Turbite Soft, and the power is kind of there from the stiffness. Price, much better. I think it is one of the best alternatives to Alu Power, with the only exception that it is a shape string, so it kind of performs a bit differently. Yeah, the magic rating, I'll give it 7.5, so slightly below Alu Power, but the overall confidence with this string is maybe a bit bigger, and yeah, the price point is easy. Yeah, let's go to the next string, Solinco Confidential. I think coming from the Turbite Soft, you will experience a bit more boardy feel. It could be a good and bad thing at the same time. You get more confidence. It might suit flat hitters more. The launch angle is, in my opinion, a bit lower. So let's go to the rating. For control, I give it 8 out of 10. Spin, 6.5 out of 10. So I think it is less spin oriented than Turbite Soft and Alu Power. Power, 5.5 out of 10. So yeah, it is a low power string. We can call it a confidence booster. It is a bit harder to bend this string, so maybe dropping tension would be a solution here. I played with it the best when I thought about my game as a flat oriented play style, not really playing with shapes like I could with Turbite Soft or Alu Power. The magic was amazing with the Prestige Tour, but for some reason I couldn't find this magic in some other rackets. Therefore I rate it at 7. Why I couldn't bring out this magic factor in every racket every time is because in general it is a bit stiffer or more boardy string, so it takes higher racket head speed to bend the string and use the potential that it brings to the court. It is a bit more demanding, less user-friendly, if you want to call it that way, but at the same time the control and confidence and ability to play flat-oriented game is, yeah, it's making it a special string on the market. Let's go to the next string that will change your game. It is Tecnifibre Razor Coat. Compared to Alu Power, I think it is a bit stiffer but less responsive. It feels like the string itself is a bit more dense, like we are discussing sometimes foam filled rackets, and to me Tecnifibre Razor Coat is like a foam filled string, so even though it could be stiff, it could be dense, it somehow feels comfortable in my hands, in my rackets, and I sometimes even use it in stiff rackets and I feel fine, so that is quite interesting. I think the spin potential in general is set quite similarly to the Solinco Confidential. Control 8 out of 10, a bit more than Alu Power because it is less responsive. Spin potential 6.8 out of 10, a little bit below Alu Power. Comfort 8 out of 10. Playability duration 7 out of 10. To me, launch angle increases slightly after a while, and the power potential increases as well. And that is maybe the reason why I sometimes can't use it in my rackets, because I tend to use heavier rackets. The rackets I experienced this magic were actually a bit lighter, like Tempo or TF40 or the regular Elevate. So maybe you need a lot of racket head speed to access this magic thing. Let's go to the next string. It is Luxilon Original. To me it is kinda Alu Power alternative with slightly less magic but much better playability duration. So you get a bit better value. You lose a bit of this magic, but you can play with it for much longer and it is less surprising over time. Control, one of the best, 9 out of 10. Of course, it is a 130 gauge, so from the shape itself you get more control. Spin, yeah, probably the lowest, quite similar to Solinco Confidential. Power, one of the lowest, 5.5, but because it is so low powered, you can accelerate more, and from the acceleration you can get a bit better spin potential. So sometimes in some rackets you can kinda even it out. Let's say you use it in Pure Aero or Whiteout, rackets that have quite wide string spacing. In this case, sometimes Original kinda brings back the control, tempers the power potential, and you still hopefully get the spin potential. Playability duration, great. I rate it at 8 out of 10, and I can play with this string for a very long period of time. So yeah, I think I covered it all now. Personally, I think most often I will find myself looking at Turbite Soft, Confidential and Razor Code. If I had to pick one, it would be a very difficult choice because it comes down to the racket combination and tension. So that's why I am narrowing down my rackets of choice, and I will start a tournament of strings. So let's see how far some of my selected strings will go. Sometimes I am looking also at the Luxilon Original, but it only jumps into my head when I have a 16-19 responsive racket. Yeah, it takes a specific racket for sure. So guys, make sure to follow me, subscribe, it helps me a lot, and see you soon. Yeah, a lot of interesting content is coming, so see you there. Bye bye.